keep in mind that what we are showing here is what is shown to those kids. But we find that when we go to teach IS officers also, we have to show the same thing. Even if we show a minister, we have to show the same thing. There are some small insights about plastic in this. To just get it into perspective. Just to get this into perspective, I think we are in a great crisis on the planet, and whatever the subjects, so many subjects and disciplines, we are looking for a global team of 8 billion people to change their behavior in different ways within 20 years maybe. Now we have to take that leap of faith that we can do it. That everyone has that infinite potential to understand this thing, this complex world, because so many experts are there, not just here but all over the world sitting together. So we can see this as a crop coming up, and sometime we are going to all meet together. Which minds on the planet are completely ready to undertake the jump from Manav to Vishwamanav? That means from, we say, Homo sapiens to Cosmo sapiens. Homo sapiens to Cosmo sapiens. Who's ready to do that? Who's ready to say, I'm not from one country and one religion, but I belong to the planet? We found in our ashram over a large amount of study that we will have to focus on the high school students. Because they have not undertaken any difficult task, they don't have failure in their life. Because their energies are fresh and just coming into adolescence, they are ready to take a huge leap of faith. So when we said to the students that we come to you to create this icon in the mind, I think because of this processing of this laptop, this is not seen clearly.
Sorry,
this is a planet.
फक्त माइक हलाय. आपण माइकच इकडे ना. It's a clip. Clip. उल्टा side.
Is okay? So I think you can see alternately that's the map of the world. So we say to them, in your mind, the brain is supposed to represent something infinite. The brain is a finite piece. We want the person who is in the audience to carry the picture of the planet when they go, but the focus has to be on the ocean, not on the land. The focus must be on the ocean. This, at the outset, we say that. And so we have called this program as Sagar Mitra, friend of the ocean. I'll skip these things. I'll skip this. Cummins India is our funding is always an issue, CSR partner for the last 10 years. And this Ocean Hero is an award which was won by our school children in 2015. See, 2011 we started with 150 children and we gave them a small task. I can show you what the task was. We said exactly in the manner that you gather dry newspaper at home. Start gathering only the dry plastic and only from home. Prince and princess, 5th standard to 10th standard, those children we say, Rajkumar, Rajkumari, aap ghar ke bahar ka nahi uthaoge. The prince and princess, they will not pick up anything from outside their house. Only from inside the house, they will not touch any dirty plastic. Very important rules. They will pick up only that plastic after picking and putting into the bag. They don't have to wash their hands. So they collect only clean plastic and they have to collect it for a month. This is also very important because when they keep it in their home, usually on top of the newspapers which are gathered, they don't put any wet waste in this, otherwise it will stink. Because the rule is that they must keep it indoors where the newspaper is for 1 month. Each of these is a very well thought out thing. So this becomes foolproof. There is no wet waste coming into this. This is last 15 days from my house. So there's no smell to it. So this is what the children had to bring. 150 children said to save the ocean from the plastic, to save the birds and the fish from the plastic which they eat. They changed it from a garbage picking program to a non-violence program, ahimsa. So to save them, they started bringing this plastic to school and we tied up with plastic manufacturers. We started buying this for 2.5 rupees a kilo. So when we buy this from the school, they know that what is purchased is never thrown. And if some plastic is in this which cannot be recycled according to somebody, because we bought it, we have taken that on us. The buck stops with us. We'll find out what to do with it. So we buy it. I'll skip through some parts. We encourage them to use steel and cloth, but I'll skip through that because in a limited time I have to show you. This is how we see plastic on the roadside. But for the planet, we see it in the oceans. For the planet, we see it in the oceans. This is how plastic is on the ground. In an urban area in a developing country like India, if we throw 100 pieces of plastic carelessly, 30 pieces will go by gravity into the water. 30 pieces will be burnt along with the leaves. 30 pieces will stay on the ground. Because of the ultraviolet rays, they'll change to nanoparticles, never into soil, never. And then that will go into the aquifers. I'm counting the future generations from whom we have borrowed this earth. So even if the nanoparticles are going to take 800 years to happen, the bottle top of the Bisleri bottle, that takes 800 years to change to nanoparticle. But those are my kids. So I have to make sure I don't throw a single one. So we tell the children here that 30% of this that we throw carelessly is going into the river. This is our Mutha river in Pune. And one of my first mentors about rivers is Dr. Vishwas Yevle. He took us every year on kayaking expedition 450 kilometers in 13 days, Alandi to Pandharpur. For 10 years, we went with him in the rivers and like this. For 10 years. And we saw the pieces of plastic. The plastic is going ahead. It's as though we are chasing it for 450 kilometers every 13 days. Once in a year, we went from Alandi to Pandharpur. And what we found there is this. Whether it is a tree which is broken, whether it is a dam, wherever there is a place where things can get stuck, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of plastic. So especially the thorny bushes on both sides, you will have a lot of plastic on them. And we found something very significant. Wherever the plastic is there, the sunlight doesn't reach the greenery and the greenery dies below the plastic. That's one of the most harmful effects of plastic. So we show this to the children, that 30% of that goes into the water. And these circular areas are the areas from where we showed you the photograph. This is Alandi, Pune, Pandharpur. And plastic from 11 rivers in Pune district goes to Bhima river, goes into Telangana. From Karnataka come 5-6 rivers with their plastic. All of this goes into Krishna river, which goes through Telangana and Andhra Pradesh and eventually into Bay of Bengal. This the children connect that if I throw, it goes to the ocean, a part of it. And this is how it looks there. These are, I'll just try to start the animation. Started right. So they need to see this. We can't say who threw it. Vinod Bodhankar, I've thrown this. So we say to them, you change from Homo sapiens to Cosmo sapiens. In Hindi we say Mano se Vishwamano. Till one person in my species throws it, I have to say I've thrown it. If anyone throws it anywhere, I have thrown it. So we start talking about that with them directly because you can't make out who threw this. This is India, and this is India if you see the rivers, and all our rivers are throwing plastic. This is only one of my countries. I'm actually, because if we are Vishwamano, we can't be from one country. We are from 195 countries. And this is the plastic which is there in the oceans because of us. Bulk of this plastic has come in 40 years. And from the eastern coast of China to the west coast of America, plastics. On this scale, you will see what is the depth of the plastic. The red patches you see, 10 meters is the depth of the plastic. And that red patch, I'm not talking about all the 5 patches now. That red patch in the North Pacific Ocean, that's only a part of the total plastic. But that deepest patch is 2,000 kilometers like this, east to west. 2,000 kilometers. And north to south, 800 kilometers. Most adults also don't know how to conceive of this. We never go up and see. 6 Maharashtras. Or if you take Spain and Portugal, 3 times of that. That is the area of this plastic, and if you dive down, it will be 10 meters, 30 feet, twice of this depth. That's a massive amount of plastic. Let's go ahead. This is the type of bottle we throw. It takes 300 years for this lower part of the bottle to change to nanoparticles because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. And it takes 800 years for the bottle top. That's really, in Hindi we say, Baki ka kachra sardi zukham hai, plastic ke cancer hai. So the rest of the waste is something like a cold. But plastic is something like cancer for nature. So the children, because they have thrown this, identify themselves as the people who do it. So next part is now their head is awakened and spread out, not up to the universe, which is the spiritual requirement, but at least up to the ocean. So they don't say Gully to Delhi. They don't believe that it's only Swachh Bharat. It's Swachh Bharat, Swachh America, Swachh Canada, Swachh China. You have to clean up every country because this plastic doesn't come from one country. So immediately their mind starts going beyond land identity into an ocean identity called Sagar Mitra. The ocean identity is friend of the ocean. This is a very important part written here. I'm going to read it out. 100% of the rain comes from the ocean. The ocean is our friend. And 70% of the oxygen comes from the ocean because 70% of the world's forests are floating forests in the ocean. I'm going to show you amazing satellite images of the ocean forests. You'll be amazed. I was amazed when I saw them first. 70% of the greenery is in the ocean. We don't know that. We have been telling the children for the last 40 years to save the trees. If we save all the trees on the ground, only 30% of our recycling capacity is saved. 30% of our photosynthesis. 70% of the photosynthesis is from the ocean. So ocean, which gives us 100% rain, 70% oxygen, and 20% of the cooling down effect because carbon sequestration. We have not yet taken it as an icon in our mind when we wake up. Ocean should be one of the main subjects in our mind. Cebu city is an IT city, very clean inside, all the topmost IT companies there, but this is the state of the garbage. This Cebu city was created in Philippines purely for IT business. This is, I'll try to start the animation. Very important to say this, yeah. This is a mixed garbage from cities. People think only developing countries are throwing this, but 24 million tons of plastic, which the USA, Canada, and Europe don't know how to manage. They have no capacity to deal with it, is sent to Africa and India and to China. So producer's responsibility, if you produce it, you send it anywhere. My Pune city is rich, so throws it on a landfill in a poor place. Rich country throws it on poor countries. So all of us are guilty. So we show them the bulk of what this is, the mountains of mixed garbage. This is a very important part. If 5th to 6th standard students, we don't tell them, it's too complicated. If this is 150 tons, only 1 ton is plastic. Because plastic is very thin, very light, and it spreads. What if we were to stop this 1 ton, we would do work which is 150 times. That means in the old times when there was no plastic, the wet waste would just sit down within 1 year. And the next year there would be a new wet waste. Now if you mix it with plastic, this is going to stay for 40 years. What used to sit down in 1 year, because when there was no plastic, it was decomposing. But with plastic, it starts rotting. These are two different things. The plastic doesn't allow the contact of water and air and sunlight. And that is why the decomposition slows down. This is a river in Mumbai. So here is where we bring the subject of non-violence. Is any fish alive here? Even a 5th standard child says, no, no fish alive. How many leaves in a tree? We can't count. How many fish in a river? We can't count. So we are killing uncounted number of fish. How many species? We don't even know how many species were there, and we have already destroyed them. Pune city, Mutha river, there used to be 70 species 40 years ago. Now there are 2 species, not indigenous. Tilapia and mangur, these are from outside. Mangur is a catfish from Thailand, and tilapia is from the Nile Delta. Okay. So all the fish in Pune rivers are dead, but the educated and cultured people don't even know that we have committed that violence. So we have shifted to this whole vortex of plastic as a subject of violence and non-violence. Rivers, Indonesia, Philippines, Kerala, Croatia. No fish. Fishermen are catching plastic. So here we remind the children that this tree on the bank is giving 30% oxygen, and in the rivers and the oceans, the greenery which is there gives 70% oxygen. So shall we look at the ocean currents and it's flashing a little bit, the animation doesn't work on this, but this is how the ocean is if you take a drop of that and see it under a microscope, electron microscope. These are the phytoplankton. These are the earliest creatures who had to create their own food from their own photosynthesis. So these phytoplankton will be about 90% of the biomass of the planet is the earliest creatures who are our great ancestors. They're still giving us oxygen. What we do is we throw a piece of plastic on that. And so the sun and the sunlight, this plastic bag is like an umbrella, and there's no sunlight, and so the phytoplankton die. This is a picture of the phytoplankton in the ocean. Sometimes they are in schools of 2,000 kilometers, 200 kilometers, 800 kilometers, even 8,000 kilometers. It's an amazing sight that in the night they glow. It's like the Milky Way has come down into the ocean. So let's go a little bit ahead. This is how they look actually. The most important creatures for us. So they are the original citizens of the nation called as the ocean. And we are like the invaders and colonialists who are invading them. So we start using this word. We say a river is a country and the fish is the citizen. Human beings are, the colonial on them. Here is an animation of 12 years, 2000 and year 2000 to 2012. 12 years of the movement of the floating forests in the ocean. This is an image which we have to show the children. Half of the ocean is green. That's the photosynthesis, and it tries to catch the sun. That's a living forest. So the meaning of forest has to change. See, we are not going to be able to have a cultural global impact unless we shift some of these base realities. We know this, but our language has to shift. So we show them, look, it's a green leaf. Why call it a blue planet? It's a green leaf planet. So half of the ocean is green. You will see where the polar areas are there, it's too cold for them. So do we save these? This is actually about global warming. Wherever there is greenery, there is lesser temperature. So I won't go into this. We have less time. This is a Croatian river throwing plastic. So this is how the plastic goes into the ocean. This is how the plastic looks in the ocean. And this is how my citizens die. Aquatic citizen, and this is an aerial citizen, avian. So the fish are dying, the birds are dying. According to the United Nations latest survey, 50% fish already have plastic in their stomach. 50% in the ocean. We can't even count the fish in a river. And birds, as an example, the albatross is a typical ocean bird. 74% albatross have plastic in their stomach. Especially, these pictures I'm not going to go into detail. You can get the drama of that. The children see it. And they hold themselves responsible. It's so amazing. We say, who did this? And they say, we did it. Only adults try to tell us which country did it. The children are so pure, their heart is still ready to embrace the universe. So they are still not, been indoctrinated into I'm from this country and that country, or I'm from the land, or I'm from the ocean. When we ask them who did this, till now, I have personally spoken to 250,000 students on this. All of them say we did it. Birds eating natural food will digest it, starfish and crab. Those who eat plastic die. These are found in albatross chicks who don't yet know how to fly. That means the parents are giving them this. They will knock with the beak. It sounds like a shell. And they are giving these pieces to their kids. So they are ignorant. But once we know this, we shouldn't throw a single bottle top or a single bottle. Till we don't know, in the court of God, Bhagwan ke darbar mein, it's okay, ignorance. But once we know, it becomes a violence. These are pictures we show. At the age of 3, this tortoise went in. It's 28 years old. Even the body has come out, can't retract the feet, can't retract the head. It's like me wearing this kada on my stomach. So these pictures, when they see, we ask them, should we save, for instance, cows also we show, because we can't focus only on the ocean. Average Indian cow has 10 kilos of plastic inside. This is 100 grams. I think Gadgil sir, you said that so much of plastic will weigh only very little. This is 100 grams. 10 of these bags will make 1 kilo. 100 of these bags will make 10 kilos, and cows have 10 kilos inside them. How they carry this inside is a miracle. At Yashoda, where we used to be called by Dr. Suman Pandey to give talks, last year they called 500 veterinary surgeons because they wanted to know why are we finding cows with 80 kilograms of plastic inside their stomach. 80 kilograms, we measured it, 2 wet blankets, 1 spring mattress, and the bed. That's 80 kilograms. That much she's carrying. If I swallow a single bottle top, or someone in my family does, I don't know, can I hold my phone and talk to the surgeon? Someone in my family swallowed a bottle top. So we have to, take a spiritual jump into not we the people, which is our constitution all over the world. We are so proud of our democracy. We the people of all species. We have to jump to that. Let us have people elected, 2 people representing the fish, 2 people representing the birds. Those who give voice to the voiceless will outnumber the so-called human representatives who sit there as members of parliament or in the Senate or in the House of Commons, wherever. All those are my countries and your countries. When we visualize something, we must dream of that we give voice to the voiceless. So here we ask the children, are you ready to do something about it? And they say yes. So we give them 3 slides only. Because anything which works globally with 8 billion people changing behavior at the family level has to be only in 3 slides. Otherwise it is going to get diluted. Take a bag, any bag, out of the garbage only. The single rule is it has to be clean, dry and empty. Otherwise they are going to keep it for 1 month, it's going to stay. There are questions about what to do with the dirty plastic. Let's keep them aside. Let's assume we are in kindergarten for 1 year. The planet has not managed this. We are in kindergarten, for God's sake. So let's first manage only the dry plastic and see can we do it. So we say to the children, don't go into a complicated system. The rope should not be tied here. The rope should be on the ground. No capacity building. Instead of jumping, even if they know how to walk, they can crawl over the rope. So we have made the entry point so easy, they take a bag. Exactly in the way we keep newspapers, they start keeping dry plastic inside the house in that bag. I purchased the newspaper, I have used it, uska upabhog liya hai. So I am responsible as a consumer. We say producer's responsibility, this is consumer's responsibility. So because I used this, I keep it. Because I used some plastic, I start putting it in here. And so we give them this chart. All the types of plastic, we are not going to complicate their minds with what not to bring. Bring everything, we'll buy all of it. If we don't know what to do with something, that's our headache. Let the buck stop with us. So this is a chart. They bring it like this. This Rajkumar, Rajkumari of the future. They're already doing the work on the ground. They're not drawing pictures about it. Clean country, dirty country. They're just doing it. This is how it gathers together. I'm so amazed, such a small group, but already 2 of the people here have their children who are involved in our schools, Sagar Mitra schools. So they bring it, we wait. This gentleman is very important, Vilas Pokle. Last 10 years, he's been buying this for about 2.5 rupees a kilo. When we show them how this plastic goes, we say, will the fish jump and eat it? Will the cow jump and eat it? And then we ask the children to loudly give us an answer. Have we gathered garbage or have we saved lives? So they are crystal clear, they have saved lives. At home, when they start collecting, if dad or mom says, why are you collecting garbage? They say, it's a non-violence program from a school. I'm saving the lives of birds and fish. So it's a Balak to Palak program. The children are teaching the parents. During COVID, the children kept on ringing us. You can imagine in Pune, in 2019, we had 172,000 children doing this. During COVID, the schools closed down, so they made us crazy with their phone calls. So we started going to their housing societies. Our juniors were ready to wear the whole COVID dress. And this is shown in order to touch their feet. Our juniors who went and risked their lives in order to continue this program, in 2020, they collected 100 tons. In 2021, they collected 117 tons. That's very little compared to what we generate. But it's a children's program. This is how 1 ton looks. Every week today, in Pune, we are buying and recycling 2.5 tons, which would look like 4 container trucks. Not the inner volume, the outer volume. 2 trucks and 2 trucks, how large that will be. That is what weekly is coming in. That means every month we are recycling 10 tons. This is, of course, Photoshop. That means every 3 months we are recycling 30 tons. That's 1 city. We are in 6 cities already. And Maharashtra government has now asked us from the MSCERT, create a detailed DPR for all the high school students. That's 8.5 million students. Now that's going to be a global thing. But it can't be done by, we have only 2 people working in our organization as salaried employees. Everyone else is a volunteer. This is a simple machine where the plastic goes from which granules are created. I won't go into these technical details, but this is more important. The children bring this Prince and Princess, Rajkumar, Rajkumari, and this is one of the products. The other, this is also something like that. From those granules, different products are created. This is another way in which it is repurposed. Like plywood, plasterboard is created from shredded plastic of any type. Don't have to segregate it. Except PVC, we try not to get it in there. This is a pyrolysis plant about which Gadgil sir already spoke, so I won't go into that. This summarizes the entire program in one. We are now officially with PMC, Pune Municipal Corporation, Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, Jalgaon and Shirpur. The beauty of the program is Jalgaon started doing it, we don't fund them, that's not our model. If they love the earth, they can do it, they can raise the money. We can just give them the initial idea for 2 months. They can change the idea, change the name if they want. So Jalgaon has a better model than Pune. There the commissioner is also bringing plastic to schools. The main person there. Her daughter and her son also bring plastic to schools. They have given us 60 teachers to teach this, means we are training, teachers training now over there. And Jalgaon on their own created a replica in Shirpur. Shirpur model is still superior to our Pune model because they are extrapolating and they are experimenting with it. Now this year we'll start with e-waste also. This is our logo, kids and saving the birds and fish. A couple of more minutes to show images. This is images during the pandemic. They had to spray every bag. When they collected and when they handed over to the factory, again they have to spray it because strict instructions were there. Even today we are spraying, even today, till we become 1000% free of COVID. So this is my gratitude and our gratitude to these people. This actually shows, in Pune, it is said that if it rains once, the water comes up to the knees. Because this is the kind of plastic going into the manholes. I'm sure this is for Mumbai and Calcutta and these 7 truckloads like this are coming in through our students every month. Direct impact. It will take some time, but it's a direct impact. This plastic is not going there. This is a village. 250 homes, all of them give plastic. They also write down from each home how many grams of plastic came. So a lady like, let's say Mrs. Sunita Pandey is there. Mrs. Sunita Pandey, she will say, in January, from my family, only 350 grams of plastic were given for recycling. But during the festival time, we gave 2 kilograms. So they are keeping a watch on their consumer patterns. I'm on the last part. You see how clean the roads are in that village. If anyone throws a piece of plastic, this child will go and pick it and put it here. So from sanskar, it is coming to sanskriti. Means from small actions which actually change a community, it's coming to sanskriti. This is what is being collected. This is the village Sadaude where the district people came and felicitated this man, Abhay Nikam. This is very important because he is now called us. He is undertaking 155 villages on the basis of his success in one village. So it's a 2-year program. So these are programs on the ground. This is Jalgaon. Now we are doing city after city. Jalgaon has already created their own poster. They have an official Sagar Mitra program. This is Pimpri-Chinchwad Mahanagaraparalika Sea Ward. So the officers have decided that in their office, no one will throw plastic. This is the commissioner. This is our training program for those officers. And this is a Shirpur program, large team doing this work. They have created their own posters. The most important part here is they created a vehicle which says we collect only dry plastic and the vehicle moves around all over the city. So shopkeeper sees that and tells, which day of the week will you stop at my shop? I'll keep this ready. So the government is sending this vehicle across. Sagar Mitra is a government program over there. And so they managed to collect a huge amount of plastic now. See, this is their 1.7 tons in 6 months, and we found a recycler for them. And this is a team. To create this team, we had to go only 2 days and give 2 talks of 90 minutes each. That's it. We have never gone back there again. So we are getting these results in Sangli and Ichalkaranji. We have started now Sangamner. This is the last one. MSCERT are the state wing of NCERT. They are the syllabus makers. They are the apex body for education. These are the deputy directors. And there's a speech here, I'm not going to put it on. She said clearly that from July, the director, deputy director, right up to the gatekeeper, MSCERT is going to be a Sagar Mitra campus. Before they talk to the students about it, The policymakers will bring their own plastic. So then we have this now thought in mind that look, we'll be able to get across to the 8.5 million children in Maharashtra. I may have overshot my time. Thank you so much. I think we are looking at collaborative exercises. Simple collaboration, people ask us, what should we do? We say, just collect plastic at home, that's it. And they say, will you come and take it? No, just give it to whoever is the vendor. Whoever is the vendor in whichever city, whichever part of the world. Because if I have, suppose, now we have reduced our plastic, but in an average house, about 200 to 600 pieces will be there. If I tie this and give it to the vendor, there are poor people somewhere along the line wherever garbage is managed. That fellow would have to bend down 600 times to collect that. Instead of that, he gets a bag with a ready-made 600 pieces. He knows where to give it. That is why they carry those bags and collect plastic all over. So even if there is no organization anywhere, on an individual basis, if we collect only the dry plastic in a dry bag, even if it rains on this, the inner part remains dry. So it's an extremely simple program where 8 billion people can say, yes, we can do it from today, no capacity building. Oh, thank you so much. We are in India, USA and Morocco. In USA, New York City called us. 9 times we have gone there. And before COVID, we started in Ditma School and Bruckner School in Brooklyn borough. And now they have called us in September for the Bronx. 5 schools in the Bronx will come in. But because of COVID, we went slow. Otherwise, we would have been up to 30 schools there. The children there have written a book on Sagar Mitra, which is available on Amazon also. So children are just terrific. So thank you so much. Thanks.